Hey all, this is Matari Anto. I know I haven't done a video in quite a while, but I just decided that I might as well put one up here because something really caught my eye and I know I haven't been doing videos, so this sort of got me in the mood to make a video. I've been wanting to do one on the midterm elections, but I haven't had the time to do it, so I might as well just put this up and then I'll make that one later if anyone's interested. Basically, what the story is about, I'm going to put a link to it in the bottom of the description box, is a CNN story about a Michigan teenager, Samantha Kelly, who killed herself because she was involved in a case in which she was 14 and her parents had found out that she had been having sex with an 18-year-old boy, and they wanted her to, they sued on her behalf for statutory rape. What really gets to me is that I wanted to give my opinions on this. For the thing about it is that the CNN story is sort of, I want to say biased, but I don't really blame him for that, on the fact that it leans more towards the parent side and really starts mentioning how horrible it was. Because what they were focusing on, the main story of the piece is that because she killed herself, the case was dropped. Because it would be against the law. They needed her testimony in order to be able to find an official verdict that would be legal. So because she killed herself, she wouldn't be able to provide testimony, therefore there was no case. I want to give my opinion on certain aspects of the piece. First, mostly I want to focus this one on blame. And because in this sort of scenario, you have, what I really got from this piece is that we have a habit as human beings to victimize and to boost up people to be worse than what they might actually be. What I mostly want to say is that I want to give my opinion on why everyone in this case should be blamed. I mean, not everyone in the piece, because there were some people that gave testimony just saying how awful it was that the girl killed herself. But the three main people are the boy, the girl, and that's going to be quite controversial, but and also the parents. The boy is obvious. He was an 18-year-old who either pressured her or knowingly went with the idea of having sex with a 14-year-old. And this is obviously statutory rape, because the youngest I know in the United States is New Jersey, my state, has the age of 16 to be able to consent with anyone over. And there are some other laws that kind of, say that if you're at a certain age and you have sex with someone the same age, it's okay, or some where if the parent consent to it, it's alright. But at the age of 14 in Michigan, it says that if an 18-year-old has sex with a 14-year-old, it's statutory rape. What I want to put on is that another part of this piece is that allegedly, from what I can figure out, was that the original case was statutory rape. But what the boy really presents, the guy, the 18-year-old, what he presents is the fact that the parents, mostly the mother he blames, is she really tried to get more than statutory rape. She tried to get, apparently, according to him, she had been claiming that he threw her on the floor and that it was a physical assault rape, which he claims he wasn't. He says he has text messages to bring it up. Whatever. You can read the piece about it and you can get what I'm getting at. Is that basically, the guy, if this was at the most non-physical, which is statutory rape, which by definition is when a person, an adult, has sex with a minor that's consensual. There's no actual, physical violence or anything that precludes to rape. It's just because of the psychological advantages, an 18-year-old cannot have sex with a minor. And that's statutory rape. So he's obviously to blame because, let's put it this way, even if it was just statutory rape, if he asked to have sex and the girl said yes, he knew way prior to before then that it was illegal. He had the idea to say, no, I'm going to wait. And first of all, it's kind of weird that an 18-year-old would be dating a 14-year-old and everything, but kids will be kids. I've done similar things when I was younger. Older girls, I date them. But, the parents also have to blame for this. Mostly because if what I'm reading the piece is correct, this wasn't just a one-time thing. This wasn't like a one-night stand. Or at least I hope not. because that would be really on the girl. What I blame them for is that when I read this piece, the one thing I asked the question of, why did the girl kill herself? Why did it come to that when it came to the whole case? And the only other one besides bullying at the school, because maybe some of the 18-year-old friends started bullying her and, calling her a slut and everything, because that's what people do. You really have to think that maybe if the boy's testimony is true, or the boy's case is true, that the mother was trying to pressure her daughter into testifying that he was violent with her and that was an assault, that maybe she felt torn. Maybe she really liked the guy and was torn between telling what would the truth be, which would be statutory rape if what I'm reading is correct, or going with her parents and getting kind of sort of redemption from them by going along with it being an assault. And this is why the justice system doesn't allow revenge. And that's the whole debate with the death penalty, is that, of course, if something were to hurt us or one of our friends or family, we want the worst amount of punishment. We want them to get the worst sentence possible. But that's not justice, that's revenge. It doesn't belong in a court of law. If it is statutory rape, the guy should get the penalty for statutory rape. It shouldn't be anything else. And if the mother is obviously trying to pressure her daughter into saying it was an assault, then that's on the fault of the mother, because she is lying in a court of law, or trying to get her daughter to lie in a court of law, in order to get the guy a stricter penalty because she was upset that they had sex. Which, more on the lines of teen sex and everything, even if that were to happen, you shouldn't wish that the guy would suffer more than what he deserved. If he got a statutory rape charge, he deserved it. If he got anything else and it was just a statutory rape, it'd be unfair justice, which doesn't belong in the court of law. And thirdly, and what I meant by controversial, as I said, the girl had some sort of blame in this, because, well, I understand and I feel bad that she killed herself and everything. She really, if it were true, I'm just, I know I'm assuming, but that's all you can really do from this case, because you won't know the truth because of the girl's death. But if it is true that the parents were, trying to pressure her to say it was an assault, it was her duty to say no to her parents, just as much as their duty to possibly say no to the guy and avoid this whole situation completely. It was very much her duty to say no to one of them and go along with what would be best for her. What I mean by that is, the girl, if it was just a statutory rape, should have just said that in court. If it went to court, she should have just said, he asked to have sex, I said yes. And that would have been solved the whole case. Maybe her parents would have gotten still upset at her, but that's on them. They're horrible parents for doing that. You don't ask your kid to lie in court because you are upset at some guy. It's her job to be responsible and say, no, this is what happened. This is my testimony. And that is what I will say. Regardless of what the 18-year-old guy or the parents say, if she said that happened and no evidence is brought against to prove that she's lying, that's her. And mostly it's that everyone should be blamed for her death, but she should be blamed mostly for letting it get that far. She should have told the prosecutor, she should have told someone that I'm not going to lie, or I'm going to stick to the truth and say what really happened. And then if that were to happen, regardless of bullying, because that's just BS, I hate it when kids do that, and the parents, if they were trying to pressure her into doing that, she should have had the conscience of saying, I was pressured by everyone to make everything worse, but I made it better by just sticking to what actually happened. And I think that's the lesson that parents should get from this case, is that karma's a bitch, basically. Because the parents, if they did pressure her, now lost a kid. Because they tried to get her to do something that was wrong in the first place. And because of that, because of everything else going on, she killed herself. I'm Matteo Ariento, and that's what I have to say on the matter.